What if I told you that a 23-year-old Canadian couple, starting today, could retire at 45, pull in $10,000 a month tax-optimized, and still leave nearly $2 million to their kids? No lottery, no inheritance, just 5 registered accounts, 6 Canadian ETFs, and a rock-solid plan. In the next 20 minutes, I'm breaking down every single step, account by account, ETF by ETF, tax bracket by tax bracket. If you're in your 20s or 30s and you're serious about financial independence in Canada, this is the most important video you'll watch this year. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, a quick but important note. Everything you're about to see is for educational and planning purposes only. This is not financial, tax, legal, or investment advice. All the projections we'll look at are based on a 7% gross equity return, a 4% blended dividend yield, 2% inflation, and 2026 CRA contribution limits with Ontario tax rates. Market returns, tax laws, and government benefit amounts will change over time. The numbers in this presentation are a planning framework, not a guarantee. For your own situation, you'll want to work with a CFP, a CPA, and an estate lawyer. All data is sourced as of June 8, 2026. Links in the description. With that said, let's talk about building real wealth. Okay, so here's the blueprint. 2 spouses, both age 23, both living in Ontario. Their goal? Retire at 45. That's 22 years of building wealth. After that, they need the portfolio to last 50 more years, all the way to age 95. Their income target? $10,000 a month, net, after tax, growing with inflation every single year. Now, the accounts they'll use: TFSA, RRSP, FHSA, that's the first home savings account, plus RESP for 2 kids, and a non-registered account for anything that doesn't fit. The ETF lineup? XDIV, XIU, VFV, QQCF, SCHD, and XEQT. 6 ETFs, that's all you need. At age 45, they also buy a $1.2 million home, fully paid, no mortgage, on fire day 1. They'll use a 3-bucket income system post-retirement, a 25-year RRSP meltdown strategy, and they'll defer both CPP and OAS to age 70 to maximize government benefits. This plan was stress-tested across 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations. It succeeds in 91% of scenarios. That's the plan. Now let's break it down piece by piece. Let's start with the full picture of who this plan is designed for. Age 23. Both spouses. Ontario, Canada. Growth-oriented risk profile with a 7% target return. They have 5 accounts open from day 1. TFSA, FHSA, RRSP, RESP, and non-registered. Their financial objectives are specific. $10,000 a month, net after tax. That income is CPI indexed, meaning it grows with inflation every year. They want to buy a $1.2 million home at exactly age 45. Fire, day 1. 2 kids, each with a $100,000 RESP target. CPP and OAS, both deferred to age 70. And the estate goal? Leave everything intact to their 2 children. Now look at the milestone timeline across the bottom of this slide. This is the roadmap. Age 23. All accounts open. The clock starts now. Age 30. RESP starts. They have 2 kids. They need to max the CESG grant. Age 35. FHSA is fully maxed at the $40,000 lifetime limit. Age 40. The portfolio target is $2.5 million. That's the critical checkpoint. Age 45. Fire. Real estate purchase. The 3-bucket income system goes live. Age 65. OAS begins, or they defer it. Age 70. CPP and OAS at maximum. The RRSP meltdown ends. Age 95. Estate transfer. Terminal tax planning kicks in. Every single one of these milestones is engineered to minimize tax and maximize wealth. This is one of the most important slides in the entire presentation. Account location. Knowing which ETF goes in which account can save you tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Most Canadians get this wrong. Let's walk through each account. TFSA, $7,000 per year, per person. That's $14,000 combined as a couple. As of 2026, the cumulative room is $109,000 each. Everything inside grows completely tax-free. What goes in here? XDIV, XIU, VFV, and QQCF. all Canadian-listed ETFs. Key point: VFV and QQCF are TSX-listed Canadian wrappers for U.S. indexes. Because they're listed in Canada, they have zero withholding tax inside your TFSA. This is a massive advantage most people miss. RRSP. Up to $33,810 per person in 2026. $67,620 combined. You get a tax deduction going in, and you pay tax on withdrawal. This is where SCHD goes. Why the RRSP? Because of the Canada-US Tax Treaty, Article 21. U.S. dividends paid to an RRSP are exempt from withholding tax. FHSA, $8,000 per year, $40,000 lifetime. You get the RRSP-style deduction going in and the TFSA-style tax-free withdrawal when you buy your first home. It's the best account for maximum growth over 22 years. RESP, $2,500 per year per child, maximizes the Canada Education Savings Grant, a free $500 per year from the government. Using an RESP instead of a high-tax non-registered account saves $48,000 to $80,000 in university taxes per child. Combined, this couple is sheltering $102,600 per year in tax-advantaged accounts. Now let's meet the 6 ETFs that power this entire plan. XDIV, iShares MSCI Canadian Quality Dividend ETF. MER of just 0.12%. Yield around 3.2%. This is a quality-screened Canadian dividend ETF. It holds companies with strong balance sheets and consistent dividends. It belongs in your TFSA, RESP, and non-registered account. XIU, iShares S&P TSX 60 Index ETF. Canada's most liquid ETF. MER 0.18%. Yield around 2.1%. It gives you the 60 largest Canadian companies, the backbone of your Canadian equity exposure. VFV, Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF, listed on the TSX in Canadian dollars. MER just 0.09%. This is your US large cap exposure, but critically, it's a Canadian-listed wrapper, so no withholding tax applies inside your TFSA or FHSA. QQCF, Invesco Nasdaq 100 ETF, TSX listed. Pure technology and growth exposure. Like VFV, it's Canadian listed, so zero withholding tax in your TFSA. SCHD, Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, NYSE listed. Historically, one of the best dividend growth ETFs in the world. RRSP only. Treaty exempt, zero withholding. Never put this in a TFSA. XEQT iShares Core Equity ETF Portfolio. A global all-in-one equity ETF. Used in the FHSA and RRSP for broad global diversification during the accumulation phase. 6 ETFs. 3 Canadian. 3 with US exposure. All placed for maximum tax efficiency in the right accounts. Now let's talk about the 22-year wealth building phase, from age 23 to 45. Combined, this couple contributes $102,600 per year across all 5 accounts. That's about $8,550 per month. It sounds like a lot, but spread across 2 incomes in their peak earning years, it's very achievable. With a 7% gross return, compounding over 22 years, the math is remarkable. By age 35, just 12 years in, they should have roughly $1.6 million. The FHSA is fully maxed. The RRSPs are growing aggressively, with SCHD compounding treaty exempt inside. By age 40, the 5-year stretch before FIRE, the portfolio targets $2.5 million. This is the critical checkpoint. If they hit $2.5 million at 40, FIRE at 45 with $4.32 million is very achievable with continued contributions and compounding. At age 45, the total investable portfolio before real estate reaches $4.32 million. That's the base for the entire retirement income plan. The most important thing you can do right now, at any age, is open every single account and start contributing. Every year of delay costs you compounding you can never get back. Okay, this is the moment the whole plan has been building toward. Age 45, FIRE day. You stop contributing. You start living off what you've built. But here's what almost everyone gets wrong about decumulation. They think it works like this. You retire, you start spending, the portfolio slowly shrinks until it hits zero. That's the wrong mental model entirely. Look at the numbers on this slide and read them carefully because they might surprise you. At age 50, 5 years into retirement, the portfolio isn't lower. It's $3.8 million, slightly higher than the $3.12 million post-real estate balance they started with. At age 60, 15 years in, the portfolio is $6.17 million. At age 70, 25 years in, after the RRSP meltdown is complete and CPP and OAS are both running at full power, the portfolio is $10.14 million. At age 80, $14.74 million. At age 95, $28.68 million. At age 45, the couple stops contributing and starts withdrawing. But they don't just start selling ETFs randomly. They use a 3-bucket system, one of the most reliable income frameworks in retirement planning. Bucket 3. Cash reserve, $600,000 in a high-interest savings ETF, CSHI, or a similar T-bill ETF. This is 5 years of living expenses, liquid and stable. This bucket protects against sequence of returns risk. If markets crash in year 1 of retirement, you draw from this bucket and leave the equity untouched. Bucket 2. Income bridge, $600,000 in XDIV and XIU, Canadian equity ETFs, with stable, eligible dividend income. This bucket generates roughly 3 to 4% yield annually. It feeds Bucket 3 every year, so you're never forced to sell equities at a bad time. Bucket 1. Long-term growth. The remaining $1.5 million and beyond in VFV, QQCF, XEQT, global equity growth. This bucket is untouched for years. It's compounding aggressively, while Buckets 2 and 3 fund daily life. Every year, the gains from Bucket 1 waterfall down to replenish Bucket 2, which replenishes Bucket 3. This system is self-sustaining in all but the worst market environments. This is the slide that separates sophisticated Canadian retirement planning from everything else. The RRSP meltdown. Here's the problem with RRSPs most people don't realize. When the second spouse dies, the entire remaining RRSP or RRIF balance is included as taxable income in the year of death. If you've got $800,000 in an RRSP when you die, the CRA treats it all as income in that single year. You could easily pay 50% plus in taxes. The solution? Melt it down strategically before you die and before age 71, when conversion to ARRIF is mandatory. From age 45 to 70, this couple withdraws exactly $55,000 per year from the RRSP. This amount is carefully sized to stay within the 20 to 29% Ontario marginal tax bracket. After each withdrawal, they immediately recontribute to the TFSA, maximizing tax-free shelter. Over 25 years, this strategy is projected to save between $280,000 and $480,000 in lifetime taxes, compared to doing nothing and letting the RRSP grow into a massive terminal tax bill. Even better, by sizing withdrawals below the $95,323 OAS clawback threshold, their OAS benefit at age 65 or 70 is never reduced. This is tax planning at its finest. Let's talk real numbers. After tax, in Ontario in 2026, the marginal tax rates can hit 53.5% at the highest income levels. But with smart account structure and income sourcing, this couple pays far less. Here's why. The income they draw in early retirement, ages 45 to 65, comes primarily from 3 sources. First, RRSP meltdown withdrawals of $55,000 a year. These are taxed as regular income, but sized to stay in the 20 to 29% bracket. After the basic personal amount of $16,452 federally, the effective rate is actually much lower. Second, eligible Canadian dividends from XDIV and XIU in the non-registered account. Eligible dividends get grossed up and then receive a federal and Ontario dividend tax credit. For a couple at this income level, the effective tax rate on eligible dividends can be as low as 6 to 10%. Third, the TFSA distributions are completely tax-free, zero. Every dollar withdrawn from the TFSA goes directly into their pocket. The result? On $120,000 of gross income, which is what they need for $10,000 a month net, the couple's effective combined federal and Ontario tax rate is roughly 15 to 18%. That's less than most working Canadians pay. The power of this plan is not just the investment returns, it's the after-tax income optimization. Should you take CPP at 65 or wait until 70? For this couple, the answer is almost certainly wait. Here's the math. CPP at age 65 for the average Canadian in 2026 is approximately $900 a month. If you defer to 70, that benefit grows by 42% to around $1,278 per month. OAS at 65 is $742 a month. Deferred to 70, it jumps 36% to $1,009 per month. For both spouses combined, CPP plus OAS at age 70, that's roughly $3,918 per month. That's nearly $4,000 a month in government-guaranteed, indexed for inflation income for life. The break-even age for CPP deferral is approximately 79.3 years. For OAS, about 82.5 years. For a healthy couple in their 40s today, both break-even ages are easily achievable. And because the RRSP meltdown bridges the income gap from age 45 to 70, they don't need CPP and OAS early. They can afford to wait. And the reward for waiting is substantial. The capital equivalent of this combined government income stream at a 6.8% yield is approximately $692,000. That's almost $700,000 in virtual capital. They don't need to save themselves. Let's talk about the kids. 2 children, 2 RESPs. The formula is simple. Contribute $2,500 per year per child. The government automatically adds $500. That's the Canada Education Savings Grant, a free 20% return on every dollar contributed. Over a child's life, that's $7,200 in free money per child. The RESP holds only Canadian-listed ETFs XDIV and XIU. No withholding tax, eligible dividends, and 18 years of compounding. By the time each child starts university, the RESP is worth over $130,000. The tax magic happens at withdrawal. Education assistance payments, the EAPs, are taxed in the student's hands. A student earning $25,000 a year pays 0 to near zero tax on EAPs because the first $16,452 is covered by the basic personal amount. Compare that to a parent withdrawing $25,000 from a non-registered account at a 40% plus marginal rate. The RESP strategy saves $48,000 to $80,000 per child in taxes over 4 years of university. Open the RESP at birth. Start contributing immediately. This slide shows exactly where the $10,000 a month comes from at every stage of retirement. Ages 45 to 65. Pre-government benefits. The income comes from RRSP meltdown withdrawals, TFSA distributions, fully tax-free, and distributions from the non-registered account, eligible dividends from XDIV and XIU, plus some capital gains from VFV. The RESP educational payments are drawn down in the couple's 50s when their children are at university. Age 65. OAS begins. If they defer to 70, they collect extra from the portfolio for another 5 years. Age 70. CPP and OAS both begin at maximum. Nearly $3,918 per month in guaranteed income. The portfolio withdrawal requirement drops significantly. This is where the plan becomes extremely robust. The entire cash flow waterfall is designed so that no single source runs dry, and every withdrawal is tax optimized. At age 45, fire day one, the couple buys a $1.2 million home. Cash, no mortgage, debt-free from day one of retirement. Here's how the purchase is funded. The FHSA contributes $40,000, completely tax-free, the best account in Canada deployed at the perfect moment. Non-registered VFV Capital Gains Fund $680,000. Non-registered XDIV and XIU dividend shares cover $280,000. And if the RESP has surplus, children not yet at university, that contributes $200,000. The principal residence exemption protects every dollar of future home appreciation from capital gains tax. Permanently. That's a powerful benefit they'll carry for the rest of their lives. After the real estate purchase, the investable portfolio drops from $4.32 million to $3.12 million. That $3.12 million, with the 3-bucket structure, generates their $10,000 a month for the next 50 years. How confident can you be in this plan? We ran 10,000 simulations. The result, 91% probability of success, meaning the portfolio sustains $10,000 a month for 50 years and never depletes, across 10,000 randomly generated market scenarios. The median estate at age 95 is $1.8 million. Even at the 10th percentile, the worst 10% of all outcomes, the portfolio still has $420,000 remaining. Only 4% of scenarios result in depletion by age 80, 7% by age 90. Let's look at the stress scenarios. In a bear market, 4% returns, 3% inflation, success drops to 74%. That's still 3 and 4. The three-bucket structure and dividend income from XDIV and XIU absorb most of the shock. In a high inflation scenario, 5% inflation but 7% returns, success holds at 82%. The scenario most retirees fear, a severe bear market in the first decade of retirement, is called the early bear scenario. With 5% equity returns from ages 45 to 55, this plan still succeeds in 79% of cases, because the $600,000 cash bucket absorbs the draw while equities recover. What does the estate look like when the second spouse passes? At age 95, the projected gross estate is $1.8 million. After terminal capital gains tax on the non-registered VFV holdings, about $82,000, and Ontario probate fees of approximately $18,000, the net estate to the children is $1.7 million. That's a capital multiple of 116%. The children inherit more than the couple originally invested. 4 estate strategies protect that number. First, the TFSA. Designated to a successor holder, the TFSA bypasses probate entirely and transfers tax-free. No CRA, no Ontario Estate Administration tax. Second, joint last-to-die insurance. A $200,000 to $300,000 policy, costing about $3,000 to $6,000 per year, is sized to cover exactly the terminal capital gains tax and probate bill. The insurance benefit is tax-free. Third, the VFV step-up. When the second spouse dies, the heirs inherit the non-registered VFV at the date of death market value. Decades of accrued capital gains are wiped. It's the closest thing equities have to the principal residence exemption. Fourth, the RRSP and RRIF are fully melted down by age 70. 0. There is no massive RRIF bill at death because the meltdown strategy eliminated it entirely over 25 years. 8 pillars. If you take nothing else from this video, take these. Pillar 1. Max every account, every year. $102,600 per year in tax-sheltered contributions. Never miss a year. Lost RRSP room is gone forever. Pillar 2. Correct account location. VFV and QQCF in TFSA, Canadian listed. 0 withholding. SCHD in RRSP only, treaty exempt. If you put SCHD in your TFSA, you lose 15% of every dividend to U.S. withholding tax. That's not recoverable. Pillar 3, 3-bucket system at fire. $600,000 cash, $600,000 dividend income, $1.5 million growth. The waterfall protects income through any market cycle. Pillar 4, RRSP meltdown of $55,000 per year from age 45 to 70. Saves $280,000 to $480,000 in lifetime taxes. Pillar 5, defer CPP and OAS to age 70. 42% more CPP, 36% more OAS. If you're healthy, the math strongly favors deferral. Pillar 6, RESP, XDIV and XIU only. Max the CESG. Withdraw as EAPs in your child's name at near 0 tax rates. Pillar 7, real estate at 45, funded with FHSA plus non-registered liquidation. No mortgage, PRE designation every year. Pillar 8, estate, joint last-to-die insurance, TFSA successor holder designation, VFV, in non-registered for the step-up at death. Follow these 8 pillars, and this plan works in 91% of all market scenarios over 50 years. That's the complete Canadian FIRE blueprint for young Canadians. If this video helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video on Canadian ETF investing, retirement planning, and tax strategy. And drop your questions in the comments below. What ETF mix are you using? What age are you targeting for FIRE? Let's build this community together. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Data as of June 2026. See you in the next one.